Good morning, Dobroutro. Actually, I decided to change the title, I hope you don't mind, to Better Homes and Gardens, St. Petersburg edition, because I felt that my other title was a little misleading. I don't actually have any empirical information to share, just observations. So, yes, and I hope this title is a little more suiting since I will be discussing the realities of what I observed as the housing situation in St. Petersburg, Russia, and the disparities between this perspective and what I was expecting to see and what I was used to before. So I spent this past fall studying in St. Petersburg, Russia, with the Bard-Smolny program, which is a joint program between Bard College in New York and Smolny, which is one of the only liberal arts colleges in Russia. And I spent about 4 months there. This picture is a view from my floor of the dorm and apartment buildings. This is also a picture of your average apartment building in St. Petersburg around Primorskaya, which is where the dorm was located. And you can't really see, but this building spans about a whole St. Petersburg block, which is equal to about 3 or 4 city blocks here. And yeah, there's a lot of families that live there. Another picture of an apartment. So I didn't get to see the insides of many of these apartments, but I did see a homestay. This is Rachel. She's another Lawrence student and was also studying at Smolny. And she lived with a family also nearby in Primorskaya. And this is the kitchen on the left. And it's very small. And she lived with a couple who had two children, or maybe 3, and it was just this really tiny apartment that was a kitchen, a bathroom, and 2 other rooms, essentially. And it was just very small. And they lived there their whole lives. Their children grew up there, and the daughter now lives 1 floor below in an apartment with the same layout. I just thought that was interesting. And on the other side, it's some garlic that the family had grown at their dacha, and the view from their balcony. The view. And so here is a picture of the dorm where I stayed, and another view from dorm. It was set up in a suite style, so there was a shared kitchenette and toilet/shower room between 5 people, and so I lived in a room with 2 other American students, and then the double was lived in by 2 Russian students. And the dorms were really one of the better housing options in St. Petersburg, but still I was a little overwhelmed because there were just people around all of the time, and in a relatively small space. I don't know if these pictures really show this space, but yeah, the walls were pretty thin, so even when I was alone, I could still sometimes hear my neighbors talking. And yeah, I don't know, it was just kind of a little overwhelming for me. So I took to the streets and walked around and meditated and explored the city and mostly observed. And what I saw was people seemed to be less inhibited and more unfettered when they were outside of their homes. And of course, I should note that I didn't see inside a lot of people's homes, but even if I were there as a guest, people would act differently because they have a guest, they know you're there. But when you're in public, you can make observations, you're less obtrusive, and yeah. And so this is it's just some people at a cafe, but hanging out. And then, yeah, I noticed that in public, couples, for example, were less afraid to be demonstrative, and it's something that I don't think really happens a lot in America, or not something that I've noticed. And so it was very interesting to see in museums just very affectionate couples in public transportation. And yeah, the woman sitting on the chair sleeping, she works at this museum but is not afraid to take a nap since nothing's really going on. And, I don't know. Yeah, and like on public transportation, there's really people are just less afraid of being close to other people. Like the buses are often filled way past capacity, and it's no big deal. People are not afraid to stand very close to each other, almost like being stepped on. It is not a problem. It's convention, and it's just a difference that I noticed from America, where it seems like everybody needs their space. And I just thought it was very interesting. Well, in conclusion, what became more and more obvious to me as the months went on was that the little nuances that you don't particularly notice or you take for granted because they pervade your life and culture are some of the things that you learn most from when studying abroad. I know I did. And by noticing these little nuances, I became more aware of some of the social constructs of my own culture and American culture. And so I would just like to leave you with a picture of the Neva. There were quite a few months in St. Petersburg when there was no sun, and on this day, the sun magically appeared, and it was just very magical. And so thank you for listening.